It's too late. If I'd done it back in 2013 or done it in 2020, and I would leave you with the thought, it's never too late to do the right thing. Bitcoin's outperforming all asset classes this decade too. 56% on average ARR for the past nearly 5 years. More than double the Mag 7. That's more than double the S&P. I think we're going to be $21 million in 21 years. It's a very special time in the network, maybe the one time in the history of the network. People ask, how's the network going to grow? It's going to be growing at 21% in 21 years. The only number you need to remember is the number 21.
最近美国宣布对台湾课征关税20%，直接让全台炸锅。行政院预估将有4万人减薪，全国总工会更担心会引发大规模失业。我们该怎么办？有没有其他增加收入的方法？让亿万富翁 Michael Saylor 告诉你。Michael 的公司 Strategy 在疫情时生意不好，快倒了，尝试过各种方式，仍然没效。最后他决定投资比特币，没想到不仅救活了公司，股价更创下历史新高，现在更是全球持有最多比特币的美国上市公司。6月份他在欧洲比特币大会的演讲，是我近期看到最精彩、最震撼的演讲。为什么他预测21年后比特币将上涨到2100万，是现在的175倍？这是乱喊还是有根据？根据又合理吗？为什么过去比特币被视为诈骗，现在全球有超过100家的上市公司疯狂购买？难道老板们看到什么我们上班族没发现的机会吗？正当很多人批评比特币价格波动太大了， Michael 却认为这些才是赚钱的机会。为什么？而且最后我还会分享自己是如何投资，才能在比特币上涨和下跌时都持续赚钱。如果你担心公司没生意，发不出薪水，甚至被裁员，害怕明年过年被亲戚关心收入抬不起头，如果你想把握2025下半年增加收入，看完这集，不仅掌握亿万富翁 Michael Saylor 最新观点，更会学到具体的投资方法，不看真的会后悔。嗨，我是 Emma， 带你在币圈趋势中打造属于自己的被动收入。在我们开始前，可以请你帮个忙吗？YouTube 后台显示有 76% 的观众还没订阅频道。如果你喜欢我们的影片，免费支持我们的方式就是点下订阅按钮。每周日都能收到币圈最新的消息，更不会错过任何的财富密码哟。谢谢。
I'm very excited to present the power of 21. My topic today is Bitcoin, time, and the engineering of generational wealth. For those of you who were in Nashville last July, I presented a few slides, and I want to take you back 11 months. So this was the status of the macroeconomy in July. Bitcoin was appreciating 55%. It was trouncing the NASDAQ and the S&P. Gold was a laggard. Silver was lame. Bonds were losers. Bitcoin was $1 trillion asset class. It was just less than 0.1% of the wealth in the world. But we could see that something was going to change. I presented a forecast in July, and I said, I really think my base case is Bitcoin's going to grow 29% a year for the next 21 years. And that's going to cause it to appreciate to $13 million Bitcoin. We had a macro forecast, and that meant that Bitcoin was growing to be 7% of all global assets. And it was growing to be its own asset class. And you can see here, $280 trillion, the preeminent monetary asset in the world. So all of that was last July. Bitcoin was $65,000. What happened since? 11 months. I was bullish last July. I've always been bullish, but when Bitcoin dipped to $16,000 during crypto winter, I was bullish. But stuff that's happened in the past 11 months has been extraordinary. The White House has embraced Bitcoin. This is an extraordinary development. We didn't anticipate this. We hoped that we would get a favorable administration, and we hope we get support, and we had this inkling, but November 5th brought a sea change in politics, and although we thought we might have a pro-Bitcoin president, we didn't think we'd get a strategic Bitcoin reserve. We didn't think that the president would say, America will be the Bitcoin superpower of the world. This is an amazing development. The new administration, J.D. Vance, pro-Bitcoin, Robert F. Kennedy, pro-Bitcoin, Tulsi Gabbard, pro-Bitcoin, Kelly Loeffler, pro-Bitcoin, Paul Atkins, pro-Bitcoin, Brian Kentez, pro-Bitcoin, Scott Bessent, pro-Bitcoin, David Sachs, a new position, cabinet-level position, not just pro-Bitcoin, a cabinet member that would go on television and say Bitcoin is the one decentralized crypto network in the world. It is special. It is the digital commodity, right? The one thing that we've all known, but a cabinet member in the United States government says it. He said it in March of this year. Howard Lutnick, pro-Bitcoin. Kash Patel, pro-Bitcoin. Every one of these cabinet members flipped from 12 months earlier, where there would have been no one that would have been as bullish on Bitcoin as what we saw here.
最重要的是，当政策改变时，经济行动也全面跟着改变。现在连华尔街都爱上比特币，投入1500亿美元，持有140万颗比特币。还有全球的上市公司看到 Michael 成功，也跟着模仿。现在已经有超过100家公司投资比特币。这就像是 Uber Eats 刚兴起时，很多人批评谁会点外送啊？这生意做不起来，只有少数餐厅加入。随着越来越多人点 Uber Eats， 现在餐厅都抢着加入。但让我最压抑的是，为什么这些公司要疯狂的买比特币，而不是拿出一点资金投资就好？难道老板们看到什么我们上班族没发现的机会吗
？12 months, what's going on? Bitcoin is still running hard, running harder than it has been, up 61%. The Magnificent Seven and the S&P are underperforming. They're struggling. The tariff wars, the trade wars have been a challenge for them. There's been a general mainstream lagging of confidence, and that's caused a surge in gold. But Bitcoin is running much harder than gold. Real estate soldiers on and bonds continue to fail. Bitcoin's outperforming all asset classes this decade too. So it continues with what you would expect, 56% on average ARR for the past nearly 5 years. More than double the Mag 7. That's more than double, about double the S&P. You've got gold, a little bit of a surge starting to catch up, but gold's still underperforming the S&P, and real estate less. This is an important chart. Here's what this chart is telling you. The cost of equity is 13%. That means that if a company's capitalized on gold, real estate, bonds, soybeans, oil, any other commodity, it can't beat the cost of equity. You cannot sell equity to buy real estate. It's dilutive. There is only one asset that a company in the world can hold that you can capitalize on that is higher than the cost of equity, and that is Bitcoin. And so you see the explosion in Bitcoin treasury companies is because now that the world's recognized a digital commodity, they also recognize it beats the cost of equity. That means that every public company, in theory, should recapitalize on Bitcoin, because when they sell equity, they're actually generating profits. They're creating an accretive transaction for their shareholders, right? The world is waking up to this. You see that hence you see an explosion, in the shares of Metaplanet and Smarter Web and H100 and Blockchain Group, right? This is going to continue. These companies are going to catch fire everywhere in the world in every capital market for one simple reason. Investors can see that 56% is more than 13%. It's just that simple. It's a very powerful dynamic.
那如果是你，会选择投资56%的比特币，还是13%的股票、黄金呢？不论选择什么，我认为新手最该做的不是投资，而是先了解币圈，认识比特币。但是现在才进来币圈的新手，该如何开始学习呢？该如何安全投资币圈呢？我投资币圈4年，曾暴富到8位数，又遇到诈骗，交易所倒闭，亏损90%，直到现在稳定获利。我总结了投资币圈安全又快速的3大步骤，在最新写的这本书《自由》，还有常见的50个币圈专有名词，帮助你轻松理解市场，从此远离诈骗。你可以在资讯栏的第1条连结中免费领取《自由》。这不仅是一本投资币圈指南，更是我如何从每天工作12小时的上班族，透过币圈成功开除老板，每天睡到自然醒的翻身经历。如果你想安全投资比特币，不想遇到诈骗，相信会很有帮助哟。
With the help of all that information, I'm going to now share my Bitcoin prophecy. I think we're going to be $21 million in 21 years. It's a very special time in the network, maybe the one time in the history of the network where you look out 21 years and you see 21 million. Specifically, I expect 21 million coins at a $21 million price in 21 years, and people ask, how's the network going to grow? It's going to be growing at 21% in 21 years. The volatility is going to be 21. This is all, the only number you need to remember is the number 21. And what does that look like? Well, that looks like 28.5% from here. Not that different, slightly less than 29% ARR. The path to 21 million, it's not going to be simple. It's going to be volatile. And so you're going to see a volatility, and it's going to damp over time, but you got to be prepared for the volatility, for the surges and the drawdowns, the good days, the bad days. This is Bitcoin's annualized return looking back a decade, looking forward 2 decades. And you can see that the network was growing faster when it's small. That's totally rational. It's now in the mid-50s. What do I expect? I expect it will continue to grow exponentially, but as it approaches hundreds of trillions of dollars, it will decelerate to the point where it's growing about 21% a year. Now, how does that compare to the S&P? It'll be growing faster. In 20 years, it's still going to be the best idea. It's still going to be the most lucrative capital asset a company can hold. It's still going to be durable, vital. There will not be a better investment in the year 2046. And I think it's very important to understand that Bitcoin's trending toward the performance of the best capital assets in the world, in the conventional world, which are like, Mag 7 digital monopolies mixed into an index. It's trending toward it, but it will never reach it. And it will never perform at that level because it's always going to be better. It's always going to be more useful. It's always going to be less risky. It's always going to have the counterparty risk of a company stripped away. There's never going to be a CEO to subpoena. There's never going to be a labor force. There's never going to be the challenge of a supply chain. It's never going to have a tariff on it. It's going to be pure digital energy, pure economic energy. By then, it will be moving at the speed of light on layer 2s, on layer 3s. It'll be moving 10 million times a second. It'll be trading between billions and billions of nodes and billions of other nodes. There's going to be nothing else to compete with it. It will be the most valuable thing, performing the best. You're not going to want to sell it in 21 years. You're just going to wish that you had acquired more of it. And here's the volatility. Looking back, volatility. Okay, it's 80, 90 vol, 100 vol. Today it's the mid-50s, the mid-40s. What do I expect? Well, this is kind of very straightforward. The volatility is going to also dampen as the asset class grows, as the structure matures, as the options markets come on, when the banks embrace Bitcoin and they'll give you a loan, the volatility will damp. When it's fully banked, when it's fully optioned, when the mainstream investors are invested in it, the volatility will damp. But the volatility of the S&P is the VIX, it's 16. Bitcoin's going to be 21. Bitcoin's always going to be more volatile because it's more useful, because it's more pure, right? And because it's more leverageable, because you'll have more capabilities and you'll be able to do more with it everywhere in the world. It will be raw economic energy. And that's okay. Volatility is vitality.
哇，21年后，比特币上涨到2100万，这是我目前听到最完整也是最长远的预测。但21年有多久？21年就像是一个婴儿出生，成长到大学生。过程中会有快乐，并伴随着挫折，就像我们投资比特币一样。所以 Michael 建议我们必须为波动做好准备。有些人冲动投资比特币，却忘了比特币价格也会下跌，结果下跌50%时就担心到睡不着，甚至卖出，非常可惜。又有些人因为害怕波动，所以完全不投资，就这样看着比特币从1万一路上涨到12万，后悔不已。我们害怕亏掉辛苦工作才存下的钱，又害怕错过时代的红利。难道没有一个两全其美的方法吗？当然有，同时投资放贷，再也不用担心比特币价格暴跌，账面瞬间亏损，而是不论币价上涨或是下跌，都持续有收入进账。我进入币圈4年，投资过山寨币，尝试过各种赛道，像是 NFT、DeFi、GameFi、撸空头、交易合约，最后绕了一圈，发现只有放贷能持续稳定获利，也是最能让我安心睡觉的投资方法。透过将资金借给交易员，每天就能赚到稳定的利息。关键是报酬率高于美国标普500，但风险远低于直接投资比特币交易合约。像是工程师 Sky 最近放贷利率高达20%，又像是公务员陈大哥认为，投资放贷每天就像捡到钱一样开心。所以如果你也想跟上币圈趋势，同时担心遇到暴跌，那相信放贷会很适合你哦。去年我还受邀到香港分享币圈投资经历，希望能避免新手再犯下我过去的错误，不用走弯路就能在币圈投资赚钱，过上每天睡到自然醒的生活。所以我准备了一个免费教学影片，分享自己是如何从什么都不懂的币圈韭菜，到现在成功打造一份稳定安心的被动收入。你可以在资讯栏的第2条链接中找到，一起在币圈安心赚钱。
You're going to hear these objections. You're going to hear more of them from all of your, wealthy financial advisors or wealthy friends that are no-coiners. And they're going to say things like, hey, it's too late. It's too late. You did it. But, if I'd done it back in 2013 or done it in 2020 or done it whenever, it's too late. But here's what I have to say. Henry Ford decided to harness fire 1,000,000 years after human beings discovered fire. It was not too late. It's not too late to use the wheel. It's not too late to master explosives. It's not too late. If you need a gun and someone invented a gun 500 years ago, you're not going to say, well, I guess it's too late for me. Or how about English? Someone learned English before you. It's too late. It's an old language. I guess it's not that useful anymore. Or to fly. I'm not the first person to fly. There's another company in my town. They installed electricity. It's too late for my company. After all, someone else installed electricity first. I don't really need electricity. It's too late. Or the mobile phone. Too late to use a computer. Too late to get on the internet. Too late to go to space. It's too late to buy a Bitcoin. Here's what they're missing. Bitcoin's technology is not a speculation. It's the ignorant speculators that think it's too late because they don't understand that it's digital energy, it's digital technology. It's never too late to master technology. And I would leave you with the thought, it's never too late to do the right thing. And now I'm going to end with some final thoughts. There's a saying in the American West, the cowards never started, the weak died along the way. In this case, to never start means to never invest in Bitcoin. If you have your money and it's invested in not Bitcoin, you never started. You have to put your capital into Bitcoin. And then the weak dying along the way, okay, well, you did a stupid deal with a loan shark and he broke your legs because you borrowed money for 4 weeks at 37%. Okay, don't do that, right? It's not an easy journey, but neither is getting in a wooden ship and sailing across the Atlantic an easy journey. The best way to predict the future is to create it. This is your legacy. Leave that. If you don't leave it to your children, leave it to the Bitcoin community. And I will see you at 21 million. Be there.
21年后，你会在吗？会的话，底下留言，我在。我是 Emma， 还会继续分享关于币圈投资、被动收入的经验。记得按赞、订阅、开启旁边的小铃铛，并打开全部，还有 follow 我的 IG 哦，那你就不会错过这些知识了。我们下周见，拜拜。